hold music. You want to avoid it, and so do your customers. So say goodbye to hold music and hello to faster, smarter support with Salesforce. Make service more personal and agents more productive using built-in trusted AI. Then watch costs and wait times drop and satisfaction soar. Support customers in a whole new way with Service GPT. Learn how at salesforce.com/servicegpt.
Welcome to Nature Backed podcast, where we are talking about the new green world. My name is Tarmo Virki, and in this episode I'm talking with Will van den Tweel from an intriguingly called company Vegan Cowboys. We sat down on sidelines of Startup Day Festival in the town of Tartu in southern Estonia.
Hey there, I hope you're enjoying the Nature Backed podcast. I'm Merit, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Single Earth, and we're a team of more than 70 people building a nature-backed economy. And if that sounds crazy enough for you, then join us. Sign up at single.earth to be among the first to get access to our nature-backed tokens. And let's talk more on our Earth Savers Discord channel. Enjoy the show.
Hi Will, welcome to Nature Backed. Tell us I was really intrigued when I heard the company name of Vegan Cowboys. To me, mentally it sounds twisted or oxymoron, or how does what Vegan Cowboys do?
Now, thanks for having me here. Those Vegan Cowboys, they target a more sustainable production of milk proteins. As you know, milk proteins are very nutritional, very functional, but the way how we are producing them and also the products derived from them, we cannot continue to do that. We need to change that. And those Vegan Cowboys target the microbial production of the milk proteins, and especially then the caseins. So taking the cow out of the production system.
Okay.
And your question related to those Vegan Cowboys, yeah, we are special cowboys. We are driving the cows out of the meadow that was used for having the cows and giving them the freedom again to do what they did in the past and not for large dairy production.
What's the company story? How did you guys come about?
The company story, Jaap Korteweg and Nico Kofferman are the founders. And Nico Kofferman is also the founder of the Party of the Animals in the Netherlands. He's also a senator in the Netherlands for that party. Jaap Korteweg is from a farmer's family, and both having experienced also some negatives of the large production of animals, are convinced that we should do things differently. So they came together, I think it was in 2008, they met, and although coming from different directions, they had the same vision and ambition with respect to improving the food system. And then they decided at that point of time, why don't we take the initiative? So at that point of time, they decided to start working on the vegetarian butcher. And the ambition of both was to become the largest butcher in the world. And they have been quite successful. And what they did is alternative meat based on plant ingredients. So it was more the reformulation of some existing ingredients, making meat alternatives. They were quite successful, and 10 years later, 2018, they sold the company to Unilever. And I think going back to their ambition to become the largest butcher in the world, on the wings of Unilever, it is becoming very large. And I don't know in how many countries, I think more than 30 it is being sold, and the product is also a very successful product within the portfolio of Unilever. So you could say, tick the box, that's what we have done. But already when they were still working as on the vegetarian butcher, they said, yeah, what's next? And I don't know whether it was Jaap or Nico, but I think both had the initiative to look also in the dairy space, because also there some changes are needed. Because if you look at whether it's the nitrogen emission, whether it's the carbon footprint, also look at the land use.
And methane and all the
methane as well, especially nitrogen. I don't know if you've heard about the issues we have in the Netherlands.
It's in the headlines everywhere.
And that's only nitrogen. But I think if you look at the world is much bigger, but we are only using a part of the world for food. But the largest part of that, about 75% of that area, is being used for cattle, is being used for dairy, while it only provides, let's say, about 25-30% of the calories and also of the protein. So look at the growing population. We need to change. And then I think the most efficient way to do that is to make the food in a different way. And that's what we as those vegan cowboys are doing, are working on, to produce very nutritional ingredients that caseins do not exist in plants. They are very special proteins. They can also bind calcium. They can form the micelles in milk, based on which you can form some very good cheese. They are not in plants, so if you favor them, and most people favor them, also cheese as a product, you need to produce it in a different way, and that's what we are targeting.
Let's get deeper into the future of milk maybe later, but the founding story for me raises one question. If one of the founders was a farmer, family of farmers, probably classically farmers, the fathers were the farmers and the fathers of the fathers were the farmers, how did his family took it?
I don't know all of that, but I think it was also it didn't change day overnight, but gradually. And he is still a farmer, but then he is growing herbs and has quite a large area of that. So, but cows, they did have that in the past. They don't have anymore.
The milk industry is changing. I'm sure everybody sees that and sees how the alternatives of milk are coming to the shop shelves basically everywhere. What's the overall picture today? I mean, you're probably deeper in the industry. How big share of the milk today comes from something else than animal?
I think if you look in the States, it is, I think, going towards 20% of the milk is of the classical dairy milk is being replaced by the almond milks, by the pea milks, by whatever milk, the soy milks. If you look at prices, they are in the States, I think, 3x, so they are put at a higher value. In Europe, I think the percentage is somewhat lower, but it clearly shows that there is a big interest. So there is a big community of people, vegetarians, flexitarians, vegans, who are looking for these type of products. And the same holds true with cheese. There were, during the last years, there were various consumer surveys, and they ask people who were flexitarian, who were vegetarian, what are you missing most? And what clearly is visible is that people are saying cheese, that's what we are missing in this category. Of course, there are cheeses made from nuts, and more. You also see some fermentation on that, and sometimes they are not bad products, but it's not cheese what people like. And for that, to be able to make that, you need to have the caseins. And that's what we are going after, and we are not alone. There are also some other companies doing that.
Of course.
Yeah.
For me, it was probably last summer when I live in an island in Estonia, in a small village, and we have a local grocery store which is tiny. And in that local grocery store, it was the first time last summer when I saw there was vegan cheese. I think for me it was like the world is really changing.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand in the capital, in the hipster areas, in the kind of maybe more wealthy areas, but if it kind of climbs to the end of the food chain in a way, to the smallest grocery stores, faraway places, that's the real change happening.
Yeah, no, I fully agree, and ultimately to make the big change, because you going back to your question, if you look at milk, alternative milks, what is the percentage, the market share? It can become much bigger, but I think then also the price has to go down, that also will hold true for cheese. The price has to go down, and the quality has to become better. We have seen that also with meat analogs, and nowadays even some meat analogs are at par or even somewhat lower than regular meat. Wow. Probably also it has to do also with the fact that the regular meat price has increased during the last months enormously. But I think that things come together, and sometimes it's also good, or we as people need to have some pain to change.
Exactly.
And I think if we also look at what is happening in the environment, look at the newspaper, you also ask yourself, going further like we are doing now probably doesn't make it easier for our children, and we need some changes. And that's what we want to contribute to.
Absolutely, the changes are needed. I couldn't agree more with you on that one. You said in the US the difference is like threefold with the alternatives and the cow milk. Is it smaller in Europe?
Yeah, I think it's about 2x.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's slightly smaller. That should boost looking forward the consumption.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there some kind of limit to say, can all milk be coming from the plant-based alternatives?
In principle, yes. It will take time, but we haven't. If you go back 50 years, of course, also the milk industry was small. So yes, that can be done. But let's also be fair. It will take some time before the technology is at the right level that you can expand and roll it out all over the world. But we are seeing progress in technology. We are seeing a need for change, and some people, even in the recent past, have been saying, if you look at meat and milk, subsidized products, and you can ask yourself how much is it subsidized, but if you take out that subsidy, then it is also easier to compete.
If you take out the subsidy, and if you take into account the climate impact of the meat or the milk, then the price level should be
correct.
Turned around.
Indirectly, we are all paying for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also,
not via the product, but we are now faced with it.
And as a consumer, even if you're vegan, you actually pay for the meat. Which is quite crazy. At least in the EU, maybe in some other countries it's somewhat different, but in the EU you pay quite a lot probably. As the kind of agricultural support is one of the biggest cost items on the EU budget, right? Interesting. How's Vegan Cowboys doing? How many countries today? How big is the company?
No, the company is still, we are an SME, a small, medium enterprise. We now employ within our research, because we are still in the R&D phase, research and development. We have about 25 people, backed up by advisors, by some part-timers, etc. And we are based in Belgium. The founders are based in the Netherlands, but we had the opportunity to take over their group. Of about 15, that was about 2 years ago, a little bit more, that were experienced in the field in expressing human proteins in yeast, had a good infrastructure, so we took over that group. and we saw that as a good base for building this technology and making it happen. Yeah.
Which side of Belgium? The Flemish or the French side?
It's Flemish. It's in the Ghent area.
Okay.
Yeah, at the technology park.
So the cultural differences are somewhat smaller.
The cultural difference is smaller, and it is an area that is also having a lot of biotech startups, and so that's a good environment.
The know-how is there also. Yeah. Wow.
So that is where we have the R&D activities. It will take still some time to bring a product to the market. That has to do with the development and the upscaling. It also has to do with the registration, because we are using a GMO, a genetically modified organism, for the production. The product is not GMO, and the product is identical to what the cow is producing. But we are using that, and we have to show that it is safe for the people to eat that type of product.
Of course.
Yeah, but so market is still quite far away, and still to have a good understanding of the market and the market needs, we have also formed a joint venture with Westland.
Okay.
Westland is a big cheese company. Have you ever had Old Cheese, Old Amsterdam?
Yes, actually I have.
Yeah,
yes.
Westland is the producer of that one, selling it. And we have formed a joint venture, and we have called that joint venture Wild Westland. So in style with the Cowboys, those vegan Cowboys, and within that joint venture we make and sell vegan cheese, but those are at this point of time cream cheeses and soft cheeses. But it gives us, and we are selling that now in various countries, in the Netherlands, in Germany, in Belgium. And that gives us a window towards the market to better understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But is milk the holy cow? Not the holy grail, right?
How do you mean that? Within Wild Westland, we produce only vegan cheeses, so there are no milk component, classical milk components.
But the future in 3, 5, 10 years. It will be all about cheeses, or
if you look at caseins, caseins are the main component of cheese. Cheese, 25% caseins, 25% fats. So we also need fats, non-animal fats, and 50% water. So that's a very relevant market. Caseins are also being used in some other markets and for some other food products. But cheese is the biggest. But for sure, once we have the caseins, we also look forward to collaborate with companies who have an interest to use it in other applications.
You say it's still quite a while to the market. It's quite a while, like 1, 3, 5, 10 years, roughly.
It's more 4 to 5 years, and depends a little bit on the area.
Okay.
For example, I touched upon the registration, getting approval, and after having shown that it is safe to produce and safe to eat. Here in Europe, that takes at least 1.5 to 2 years.
Wow.
And in the US it goes quicker, so that's why I'm also saying it depends a little bit on the area. But it will take several years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So actually the cheese is the holy cow.
Yes.
Okay.
We also picture that as a golden cheese.
Yes, the golden cheese and the holy. Yeah. Okay. 4 to 5 years to the market. Were you part of the company already at the time when or were you part of the previous company when you were not involved in vegan butchers?
No. I entered into conversations with Jaap and Nico after they had sold off the vegetarian butcher, and when they were thinking and about how to proceed also in this alternative dairy space. And before that, I have been working at DSM, the big corporate in the Netherlands, where I was working for more than 35 years, involved in innovation, in a way doing somewhat similar than I'm doing now, developing novel technologies, scaling novel technologies, building relationships, etc.
In this series, we've been speaking with a few investors who've been investing in a food and the food tech sector, and they've been really keen on that kind of vegan alternative space. How do you see that kind of investment activity in that field? Do you see that people with big bags of cash knocking on your door to, can we grow you guys bigger, or what's the feeling of that industry?
No, there is a lot of investments going into this area, and also venture capital going into these type of businesses. So far, we have not attracted those funds because we don't need them at this point of time. On the other hand, I think if there is a good proposition and if it helps us to bring the product to the market quicker and better, or quicker achieve a lower cost of goods, then for sure that would be interesting. But quite a lot of people, and we speak with investors, but so far we have not executed anything in that field.
Because but also probably there are a few things in a kind of R&D which cannot be done any faster. Like you said, up to 2 years of the EU approval already, kind of you can't do that faster with the bigger money.
No,
exactly.
Now, of course, in the preparation, you have to make sure that you do the right things.
Of course.
But no, that's simply a time. Submit the dossier.
Exactly.
Keep the fingers crossed that you don't get too many questions, and hopefully that you get quickly approval.
Good stuff. I think that's also a good point to wrap up. Thanks, Will, for joining us here.
Thank you.
That was a good bang to finish it.
Good.
Join us again for the next episode. Thank you for listening. If you like the show, please give us a good rating and leave the feedback in your podcast player so others will find it too. We will be back next week. Turn on to Nature Backed Podcast.
If you're looking for some of the best alternative rock,
take my hand and come with me because you look so fine that I really want to make you mine.
What's up, this is Brad. And this is Rob from Linkin Park.
I'm lost in these memories.
95 The Edge, powered by Autolus.com. Download the Autolus radio app from the Apple or Google Play Store and enjoy some of the best alternative punk rock and grunge from the 90s to today.
Electricast. Welcome to Tuning Into Sound Wellbeing, where we harmonise your mind, body and soul. I'm Amanda, your sound therapy expert.
And I'm Stephen, the curious explorer uncovering the mysteries of sound.
Together we explore vibrations, frequencies and the power of sound therapy and tuning forks.
Discover ancient wisdom, reduce stress and tune into a healthier life. Subscribe to Tuning Into Sound Wellbeing today.
Electricast.